Absolutely, one of my favorite parts of collecting old video games is finding those weird, random, bizarre ones that you can't believe actually exist, because it's fun to show them to people and be like, hey look, this has actually been made into a video game. Stuff like McDonald's Treasure Land for the Genesis, Captain Planet for the Nintendo, Eat the Cat for the Super Nintendo, the Gilligan's Island game for Nintendo, Fido Dido had a game, Chester Cheetah actually had 2 games, and Home Improvement, which has actually been my favorite one to show off up until this point. Now, as much fun as it is to show off the actual games, showing off the gameplay is even more fun because usually it has literally nothing to do with the source material. Home Improvement, Tim Allen Fights Dinosaurs is a great example of that. But with my recent purchase of a Game Boy Color, I hate to say it, but I think Home Improvement has now been toppled as my favorite random game to show off, because now I have Nsync Get to the Show for the Game Boy Color. Now, I mean, the Game Boy Color had a lot of pretty random games, but I don't think anyone tops this one. Nsync was pretty popular at the time, so it makes sense to make a game out of them. But what the hell could it possibly be about? So the game opens with, I guess, decent renditions of the band. You can tell who everyone is, and it was the Game Boy, so I guess it's adequate. So the main menu doesn't really offer a lot of options, so let's kick things off with Jump Around, which looks like 3 different mini-games, so start things off with Hotel Havoc. And I'm not quite comfortable saying I'm a super fan, so new fan. And this is Hotel Havoc, and the first thing I notice is that, well, I don't know what the hell to do, there's no instructions, but choosing pictures of dogs and I think screaming circus babies and old women and I don't know, that seems to be what takes your score up. You'd think it was clicking the members of the band, but that always takes the score down. So I don't know what the hell is going on in this game, but even if I did, I still don't think it'd be very fun, so let's move on to the next one. So next up is Burger Craze, and once again we're going to go with new fan. So this one at least makes more sense than the hotel one. Clearly whatever ingredients on the bottom left, you just move back and forth, catch it on your hamburger bun, make the burger, and you can continue on. It's a little strange at first because clearly you're playing members of the band, so it's weird that this is what they're doing. But then I thought back, and I do remember reading this interview a few years ago with Nsync, where they were actually talking about when they're hungry and want burgers, they have their manager or someone just toss all the fucking ingredients in the air, and then they just move around with a hamburger bun on a plate above their head, hoping that they can catch the ingredients that they want on their burger, and then that's how they prepare it. So I give credit to the game, at least. They're sort of trying to keep it realistic and with the band, but it's still not that fun. I mean, it's okay, it's better than the last one, but it gets boring and pretty quick. It's pretty simplistic, kind of like an old Atari game. And overall, it's just, I don't know, pretty stale, so let's move on to the last one here. Alright, let's go with the final one. Let's Warm Up. Pretty generic, so I have no real idea what we're in for here. And it turns out, Hacky Sack. The final game is Nsync kicking around a hacky sack to each other while standing in a circle. This is the best thing they could come up with to put in an Nsync game, is to have them kicking around a hacky sack. So we'll fire up the main game here and see what the Nsync game is all about. So here you can choose which pixelated mess of an Nsync character you want best representing you. They all look pretty awful, but I'm going to pick JC here because he's the fucking goofiest looking. So you enter your name and get ready for probably the most epic story in the history of video games. Hi there, you're our #1 fan. God damn right I am. And that's why we're putting you in charge. Wait, what? You have the keys to our limo and we're really psyched to have you with us, so let's get going. It's up to you to get us to the concert on time, bitch. It's important to us that each show be a great time for our fans, but we're exhausted and need to catch some Z's at the hotel. Our limo has state-of-the-art control, so you'll get all the directions to get us there. Oh, one more thing, we need to run a bunch of errands, too. Just keep us on schedule, bitch. And that, everyone, is the plot line for Nsync Get to the Show. Well, where to even begin? First off, why is the band getting their #1 fan to drive them around? Don't they have, well, drivers to do that for them? And is this person even their #1 fan, or did Nsync just come running up to them on the street screaming nonsense about their #1 fan and having the keys to their limo? Clearly they're mentally unstable enough that you would be fucking terrified to say no to them. So now it looks like you're stuck in a limo with 5 insane pop stars. So now we get to the first part of the game, Limo Race, which isn't a race at all. It's you driving with plenty of time while the band yells shit at you from the back seat like, let's send flowers. So it tells you where to go, you drive up, pull over, grab flowers and move on. I guess these are the errands the band said they had to run, but then Lance just yells, need some stamps, which isn't even grammatically correct. So I don't know what he needs them for. He must just want to lick them and glue them to his face, because clearly the band is out of their fucking minds. And check this moment out. One character just yells, donuts are the best! Okay, did you want me to buy you some donuts? Or are you all of a sudden just fucking excited that donuts exist? Either way, I don't think this barely qualifies as an errand, but there you go, enjoy your donuts. So you drive up and you finally beat the level and you get this. You rock! We can't wait to finally get some sleep. Yeah, having me drive your ass around while you buy stamps and eat donuts must have been really exhausting, but either way they tell you to keep the noise down and we come to Hotel Havoc, which sounds very familiar. Because guess what? It's the same game I played earlier. So it turns out Jump Around isn't mini games at all, it's nothing extra, it's just being able to quickly go to other parts of the main game. So, it turns out this game has even less to offer than I thought, and just when I thought my opinion of it couldn't get any lower, here we go. So after 5 painful levels of clicking on pictures and hotel windows, JC tells you that they're in the mood to go get some burgers, even though it's breakfast time. God damn, those Nsync members are so wacky! Well, here we go, more driving first. Justin says, let's go catch a flick. Which, again, that's not an errand. And you guys are supposed to be getting to your fucking concert. You're all worried you're gonna be late. You have time to catch a movie? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. So apparently they really don't care about the fans, because if it's getting to the concert on time or going to a movie, sorry fans. So when you beat the hacky sack, which is the final level of the game, JC says it's been a great day and that you are awesome. You made all the stuff we had to do fun. Wait a second, you spent the entire day eating burgers and buying stamps and playing basketball and bowling, and how was none of that going to be fun in the first place? That doesn't make any sense. Also, did you notice that JC says you're our #1 new fan? So it's true, you were never their fan to begin with. They just sort of forced all this upon you. But it's all okay, because as a thank you, you were treated to the most epic Nsync concert of all time. Fuck yeah. This goes on for 2 straight minutes. And that's the Nsync game. So clearly there are a lot of problems with this game. It's not very fun, there's nothing to it, it's very simple and you can beat it in the hardest difficulty in about a half hour. But my biggest problem with it is the storyline. Because if you have an Nsync game, you might as well just go completely nuts like Home Improvement. Don't keep it sort of realistic. Just imagine some of the storylines they could have done with this game. There are dragons fucking everywhere! Help us become magical wizard ninjas so we can defeat the dragons and save Minnesota. All of the women of the world have turned into murderous sea creatures, and we're gonna have sex with each and every one of them. The entire band has turned into werewolves, and the only way to stop them is to eat all the pancakes in the world. Or, if none of those work, there's always the classic, the president has been kidnapped by ninjas. Are you a bad enough pop star to rescue the president? So even though I'm sure it's aimed at a much different audience than me, I'm afraid I can't give this game any higher than a 2.5 out of 10. Better luck next time, guys.